5 to 7 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests. Good morning. Goal setting, basics of goal setting. This is what I told to myself when I goal set to study my second career, which is finance and accounting. It's July the 3rd, 1983, 4:30 p.m. I will remember this day when I finished this career. Guess what? It happened. I did remember that moment. You may wonder, what is my first career? I'm a commercial pilot too. What do you need to do to set a goal? We have heard many times the SMART acronym and the LAMP, right? Where those came from? They came from 2 books. Sorry. They came from 2 books. First one, The Magic Lamp by Keith Ellis, and the second one, Goals by Brian Tracy. I'm sure you're familiar with these acronyms, the strategic, attainable, time-bounding,
Measurable.
measured, realistic,
Achievable.
relevant, etc. And the LAMP is with lock into the goal, attainable, manage progress, and the P stands for persistence. I don't agree 100% on this because we're missing 2 basic elements. And to show that, I will ask these 2 lines, these 2 rows, it's a post-it on in front of you. Can you follow my instructions and listen carefully? Grab the post-it and fold it in half. And then in half again. Now tear off one of the corners. All right, now unfold the post-it and please post the paper in any of the white areas and you pass it on.
Wait, sticky cord?
Just unfold it and put it back. Now, while our Toastmasters do this, let me go a couple things about these 2 books. Keith Ellis wrote that book in 1996. And he pointed out in one study that in 1921, in Stanford University, he studied 1,528 children that had high IQ. And he wanted to demonstrate that high IQ was related with achievement. Guess what? He found that he was wrong. He found that the common factor were 3 elements of this group of people to overachieving, which were persistence, the tendency to set goals, and self-confidence. On the other hand, can you pass it on to the back?
Here you go.
Oh, all right, thank you. On the other hand, Brian Tracy wrote in his book Goals that study that we are all familiar with. Remember these 3% of the Harvard graduates? That's where he wrote this book in which these 3% who wrote down these goals and had specific goals, their income achieved 10 times, 10 years later from the rest of the class. That's where it comes from. But now let me ask you, how about those people that follow these steps and they don't achieve their goals? What's wrong? Can you tell me why the post-its are different?
Different
interpretations.
Perspectives of what you said.
Precisely. Now, even the acronym, there is people, yes, they achieve their goals because they are easy, as Devin pointed out. But what is missing is really the perception of each element. You and I have that in common. But we are triggered by a different element or cause. what moves me is different what moves you. Do you agree? Now, what is that? How someone can really grab that trigger and make a change? Well, how would that happen? It's easy to find or not. It's really two elements. I mentioned earlier, basics of goal setting. The basics of goal setting really already we have done it. And we already saw those here. But the ones I'm talking about are a little different. This is the necessity of execution and the clarity. What is this? What does this mean? Very easy. Let me give you one quick example. My dad, he could have set up a goal to stop smoking. Nor my mom, nor my sisters, not his or her, not his or grandchildren, nieces or nephews, were able to convince him to stop smoking. You know what happened? He visited a friend of him that was overweight, who had a tracheotomy, and the moment he was at the hospital asking for a cigarette, smoking from here.
Oh.
That hurt. But he had the necessity in that very moment to say enough. I had the clarity that he didn't have to do more and time bound and whatnot. It wasn't that moment. It's not the same to say, I will stay healthy because I want to live a fulfilling life, than I need to remain my weight in control because I want to stay alive. It's different to be pushed by pressing, issues, than to be pulled for something with a purpose. Fellow Toastmasters, when you leave this room today, I really ask you to ask yourselves, what is the way I can create necessity with something in purpose that can make me take action today? Thank you.
Great speech.